From the moment Meghan Markle stepped into the gilded corridors of the British monarchy, she promised the world a new era, one of modernity, openness, and glittering stardom. But years later, the woman once hailed as the Duchess who could do it all, is facing her most humiliating moment yet. The release of the second season of her much-hyped Netflix series With Love was meant to silence critics and cement her as a powerhouse in entertainment. Instead, it has become the most brutal chapter in her post-royal saga, a chapter being devoured by the press, dissected by her enemies, and, most painfully, ignored by her supposed allies. The buzz leading up to the premiere was deafening. Meghan's team orchestrated a lavish media campaign, with curated behind-the-scenes shots, dreamy trailers, and carefully staged, authentic moments with Harry. But beneath the sparkle, insiders whispered of chaos. Production delays. Creative episodes scrapped entirely. You could see it in her eyes. The pressure was crushing her, an unnamed crew member told the Royal Watcher. She wasn't the confident Meghan of the early Netflix days. She was brittle. And then came the premiere night. Cameras flashed, the red carpet rolled out, and Meghan emerged in a sculpted gown that screamed power. But somewhere between the flashbulbs and the press interviews, the mask slipped. Viewers noted a stiffness in her smile, a flicker of irritation when a reporter dared to ask about Harry's absence from the event. That was the moment, one media analyst wrote. The Meghan we saw wasn't the polished Duchess. It was a woman on the edge. The series itself was a disaster. Critics tore into it with surgical precision, self-indulgent, lacking authenticity, a vanity project masquerading as a DOCU series. Even the usually supportive American tabloids ran headlines like, Duchess drama bombs argue. The ratings were worse, a staggering 62% drop from the first season's debut. Within days, Netflix executives reportedly began private discussions about whether the multi-million-dollar deal with Harry and Meghan was worth the headache. What made this flop so catastrophic wasn't just the bad reviews, it was the silence from the very people Meghan had counted on. Celebrity friends who had once posted glowing praise were suddenly mute. Oprah didn't. Serena Williams kept her distance. Even Ellen DeGeneres, who had been a vocal supporter, offered nothing more than a lukewarm Instagram story. It's the Hollywood way, said a veteran PR insider. When the shine fades, so do the friends. But the most devastating silence came from the palace. Royal watchers noticed that while Kate and William were photographed attending charity galas and Charles was hosting foreign dignitaries, no member of the royal family publicly acknowledged Meghan's series. The BBC ran a blunt headline, "Royal support? Nowhere to be seen." Sources close to Buckingham Palace claimed this was deliberate, a quiet but firm message that Meghan was no longer part of the inner circle. It's not just that they're not helping her, a royal aide allegedly confided. It's that they're letting her fail. And fail she did. Social media, once Meghan's safe haven of adoring fans, became a battlefield. Hashtags mocking her show trended for days. Viral clips of her mask slip moment at the premiere was spliced with scenes from the series to create merciless memes. A TikTok compilation titled, From Duchess to Disaster, racked up over 10 million views in a single weekend. Inside the Montecito mansion, the mood reportedly turned tense. Harry, already embroiled in his own legal battles and public image issues, was said to be deeply concerned about the fallout. Netflix executives, once wooed by the couple's promise of exclusive royal insights, were now rumored to be tightening creative control on future projects, or, worse, considering pulling the plug altogether. Perhaps the most telling sign of Meghan's precarious position came when a senior Netflix strategist was overheard at a Beverly Hills luncheon saying, "They've got one more shot. If the next project tanks, the deal's dead." Meghan, of course, is no stranger to public scrutiny. She's weathered tabloid smear campaigns, family betrayals, and a royal exit that shook the monarchy. But this time feels different. This isn't about palace politics or outdated tradition. This is about the one thing Meghan has always claimed as her superpower, her ability to control the narrative. And right now, the narrative is slipping through her fingers. She built her brand on relatability and empowerment, explained Drive. Alison Porter, a cultural commentator. But when audiences start to see cracks in that image, when the mask slips, it's almost impossible to put it back on without people noticing the glue. The stakes couldn't be higher. If Meghan can't recover from this flop, she risks losing not only her lucrative Hollywood partnerships but also the fragile influence she still holds in the public sphere. For someone who once stood on the balcony of Buckingham Palace as a duchess, adored by millions, the thought of fading into irrelevance may be the ultimate nightmare. And sir, the Duchess of Sussex faces a crossroads. Behind the polished Instagram posts and carefully worded statements, the reality is stark. The allies are gone, the palace is watching from a safe distance, and Netflix's patience is wearing thin. The woman who once promised to rewrite the royal rulebook is now fighting to keep her name on the cover. As one former friend put it bluntly, Meghan's mask didn't just slip. And the world saw everything.